All right, let's talk about hacking. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on all the Hollywood nonsense and get into what hacking really is. And here's a hint. It has way less to do with magic keyboards and way more to do with a specific way of seeing the world.
You know, this quote just nails it, right? It gets right to the heart of the matter. If it was all about having some secret software, well, anyone could just download it and become a millionaire. But that's not how it works. And honestly, the reality is a whole lot more interesting. And that brings us to the absolute foundation of all of this. It's not the software, it's not the hardware, it's all about the mindset.
Yeah, exactly. The mind is what gives the tools their power, not the other way around. I mean, think about it. A wrench is just a hunk of metal, right? Until someone with the right mindset picks it up and figures out how to take an engine apart with it. It's all about how you approach the puzzle.
So, what does that even mean, to think like a hacker? How do they see the world in a way that the rest of us might not? Let's dive in and break that down.
I absolutely love this analogy because it is so true. Hacking isn't about brute force. It's not about smashing down the castle's front door with a battering ram. No, it's about being clever. It's about patiently walking around the entire castle, checking every single window until you find the one somebody forgot to lock.
Curiosity weaponized. How cool is that? That's really what it is. It's about noticing patterns that other people just don't see. And, maybe most importantly, it's about asking better questions. You know, a developer builds something and asks, does this work? A hacker looks at the very same thing and asks, how can I make this work in a way you never ever intended?
And that leads us to the golden question. This is the single most powerful question in any hacker's toolbox. It isn't, how do I break this? Nope. It's what did they forget? Because that question points you directly at the most reliable vulnerability in any system ever created, human error. The developer who is rushing, the system admin who skipped a checklist item, that's your unlocked window.
Okay, so once you start thinking this way, you begin to see that pretty much every hack, from the simplest to the most complex, follows the exact same predictable rhythm, a universal pattern. Let's take a look. And here it is. It's a simple 4-beat rhythm. First, you gather information. You learn everything you can. Second, you find the weakness. You spot that thing they forgot. Third, you exploit it. You use that weakness to get a foot in the door. And fourth, you establish control. It's always the same dance. Information, weakness, exploit, control. Once you get that rhythm in your head, the tools and techniques start to make a whole lot more sense.
And why is this pattern so timeless? Why does it always work? Because technology is changing constantly, right? New software, new defenses, but human nature, that doesn't really change. We're always going to be a little bit lazy, a little rushed, a little forgetful. And that is the one constant a hacker can always count on.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the mindset, the theory. But how do you actually start practicing this stuff, safely and legally? Well, the very first step is to build yourself a proper workshop. Listen, this part is absolutely non-negotiable. Trying to learn and practice hacking techniques on your personal, everyday computer is like trying to perform surgery in a dusty, greasy garage. It's just a terrible idea. It's dangerous, you're probably going to break your own stuff, and you could accidentally cause real problems. You need a clean, isolated, sterile environment.
So, what does this sterile lab look like? In the digital world, it's something called a virtual machine. The easiest way to think of it is as a computer inside your computer. It's a totally isolated digital sandbox. That means if you're messing around inside it and you break something or unleash some nasty code, your real computer, your physical machine, is completely safe and untouched. It is the perfect, safe playground for learning.
So let's wrap this all up. I want to give you one clear, simple, and totally actionable first step you can take literally right now to start this journey the right way. All right, here's the game plan. Super simple. First, the why we need a lab. We need software to create that lab, right? We're going to use a free program called VirtualBox. Next, the what goes in the lab. Inside that safe little box, we'll install a special operating system called Kali Linux. And the reason is simple. Kali comes with basically all the security tools you could ever want to learn with, all packed in and ready to go. Don't get overwhelmed by all this. Your only homework for today is one simple thing. Go to the VirtualBox website and download the software. That's it. That's the first brick you're laying for your new lab. Because today, you're just laying the foundation. Tomorrow, we build. In our next explainer, we'll actually walk through installing it and bringing your lab to life. See you then.